Hi, everybody. This is Lee, and I'm often very pleased to report good news. Some good news coming out of Virginia. I reported some good news coming out of West Virginia. They decriminalized medical cannabis, which was a very common sense and forward thinking and compassionate thing to do for the people of West Virginia. And then I've also reported on Kentucky, the fact that there are efforts to turn coal mine jobs into solar jobs, making it not necessarily an a coal mining state, Kentucky, but an energy state. That it's all on the table, and so that's great coming out of Kentucky and West Virginia. And so back to Virginia, this is a state I've reported on before. The governor, Terry McAuliffe. I've been paying attention because he is about to be term limited out of office this fall. And so it's good to pay attention to who's going to replace him. Very important because of many issues affecting life in Virginia that can come under the jurisprudence of the governor's office, who can pass, sign legislation, or veto legislation. But Terry McAuliffe has really gone out of his way to be a forward thinker on the restoration of voting rights to ex-felons. And this is terrific what he has done, that he stuck to his guns. And I question his motivation. I applauded his efforts throughout 2016, even leading up to last fall's election. I kind of question his motivation, kind of saying to myself, I think this is to benefit Hillary Clinton because they go way back. He's part of that Clintonista circle. But Terry McAuliffe has persisted even beyond the November 2016 election. He was very serious in extending democracy to the citizens paying taxes in Virginia who have that felony charge on their record, many of them for nonviolent drug offenses. And so Terry McAuliffe has gone out of his way to restore voting rights. This is a press release directly from his office. Governor McAuliffe restores more voting rights than any governor in American history. And that's a tremendous legacy to leave your last year in office. And so he has individually restored the voting rights of 156,000 Virginians, more than any governor in American history, and that he surpassed former Florida Governor Charlie Crist, which actually restored the voting rights of about 155,000 individuals through a clemency board. And so Governor McAuliffe made that a priority, and he calls it his proudest achievement as governor. And I think he should, take pride in that. It's very important what he did. And so he says basically that these people who were disenfranchised were living in the communities, they were raising families, they were paying taxes, they were sending their children to school. And so it made sense to restore their voting rights once they served their time. And it was not a pardon of the crime. It didn't even restore their firearm privileges, but it does provide them a way to experience the full range of citizenship and their civic duty to put their taxes into voice through the franchise. And so it's exciting. He had tried doing a blanket order last year, and that was voted down by the Virginia Supreme Court. And they said that the governor did not have the authority to do that. And so he announced after that he would restore those rights individually. And so he made a process where he could do that. And that process is still in use today. And so this is what he did. He took systematic steps to end the disenfranchisement, one, by reducing the waiting period for more serious offenders from 5 years to 3 years. And then he classified all drug-related convictions as nonviolent. He shortened the application for more serious offenders from 13 pages to 1 page. He removed a requirement that individuals pay their court costs before they have their rights restored. And he established a process so that a notation can be included in an individual's criminal record, indicating that his or her rights have been restored. And so, let's see, the governor's previous measures had restored the rights of 18,000 individuals, more than the past 7 governors combined over their full four-year terms. And so, Terry McAuliffe says that this process that he has come up with, this systematic process at voter rights restoration, he says that it puts Virginia in line with 40 other states in the nation, that the majority of states have this process, this reasonable common sense process to expand democracy. And so, again, in order to fully realize automatic restoration, the blanket that he did try, Virginia will need a constitutional amendment. And the amendment would require the consent of Virginia's General Assembly. And so previous efforts have failed, but until such efforts take place, Terry McAuliffe's process is in place. And so that's important to know, because not only Terry McAuliffe is being term limited out, the Virginia Assembly is also up for election this fall. So depending on who goes into the General Assembly, and depending on who replaces Terry McAuliffe after his term is completed, this could have an effect on the voting rights restoration. And even whether it becomes a blanket order, or even if the next governor decides to stick with Terry McAuliffe's process for restoration of rights. So, again, it's really fascinating to see what's happening down ballot. Lots of intriguing events, lots of civic lessons being learned at the state level. The governors, the assemblies, things like this. Many things are happening. And it's great what Terry McAuliffe did. So I got to give Terry McAuliffe some recognition for that. Well done. Good luck.